Welcome to FODBay YouTube channel. In today's explainer, we are diving into what might literally be the most ambitious, expensive, and polarizing product leak we've seen in years. The Apple iPhone Ultra. This is kind of the ultimate story of ambition versus reality, right? We're going to break down the whole shebang, the cutting-edge engineering, the brutal physical compromises, and honestly, the intense production drama that's happening behind the scenes right now. Okay, let's dive into this. For years, Apple has basically sat back in silence, just watching competitors like Samsung, Google, and Motorola stumble their way into the foldable market. And they all suffered from the exact same glaring issue, right? That super annoying visible crease right down the center of the screen. But according to massive supply chain leaks, Apple has finally cracked it. They've actually solved the crease. Section 1. Enter the iPhone Ultra. Now, Apple's strategy is rarely to be first, it's to be best. And man, their opening move here is absolutely staggering. 4.5 millimeters. That is the rumored thickness of this device when it's completely unfolded. To put that into perspective, if this is true, it will be the thinnest product Apple has ever made, beating even that famously paper-thin iPad Pro. Folded shut, it sits right around 9.2 to 9.5 millimeters. So basically the exact same thickness as the standard iPhone sitting in your pocket right now. Section 2. A groundbreaking new design. To really get why this phone is a total game changer, we have to look at how Apple is totally ignoring the traditional foldable blueprint. While the competition has been building these tall, narrow phones that just happen to unfold, Apple is using what industry insiders are calling a passport design. It's shorter and it's wider. When you open this thing up, you aren't getting some weird, awkward square. You get a massive 7.76-inch inner display that is natively in landscape mode. That means no massive black bars at the top and bottom when you're watching movies, you know? It means playing games in a native widescreen format and side-by-side multitasking that genuinely feels exactly like you're holding an iPad mini. And this brilliantly illustrates the secret to pulling off that completely flat, crease-free screen, the liquid metal hinge. Get this. Apple actually acquired the rights to this unique amorphous alloy technology way back in 2010. Yeah, they've literally been sitting on this secret weapon for over a decade. This liquid metal is incredibly strong, flexible, and super resistant to long-term wear. By using this alloy, Apple has reportedly engineered a hinge that allows the self-healing internal display glass to fold completely flat against itself. Boom, zero visible crease. Section 3. Massive power and intelligence. Now, driving a massive crease-free 120Hz LTPO OLED display, that requires an unbelievable amount of horsepower. So let's talk specifications because this spec sheet is wild. Powering this whole experience is the brand new A20 Pro Bionic chip, which is built on a highly advanced 2-nanometer process from TSMC. We're also looking at 12 gigabytes of RAM to easily handle that smooth iPad-style split-screen multitasking. But the real standout feature here? The battery. Despite being just 4.5 millimeters thick, Apple has somehow managed to cram in a massive 5,400 to 5,800 milliamp hour battery. That's the largest battery Apple has ever put in a phone. Add in a dual 48 megapixel rear camera system and a highly advanced 24 megapixel under-display camera on the inside, and you've got a true powerhouse of a device. But, we have to talk about the reality of physics. When you stuff a 2-nanometer flagship processor inside a tiny 4.5 millimeter body, it is going to generate an intense amount of heat. Like, a lot. To solve this, Apple is reportedly integrating a custom vapor cooling chamber directly into the design. And honestly, this isn't just some nice-to-have bonus feature. It is a mandatory engineering necessity so this thing doesn't overheat and throttle your performance while you're gaming or running heavy apps on that gorgeous tablet display. And hey, if you're feeling skeptical about all this hardware, the software leaks practically confirm the whole thing. Early looks at the iOS 27 source code explicitly reveal instructions telling developers to stop designing apps for fixed screens and start designing for a dynamic range of sizes. The code actively references fold states and angle degrees, plus it includes native support for left and right split screen multitasking, and, this is super cool, a wild new FaceTime feature that actually activates the front and back cameras at the exact same time. Perfect for when you prop the phone up like a tent. So yeah, the software is quietly laying all the groundwork for the hardware. Section 4. The form factor sacrifices. Now, what's really interesting about this is you cannot completely reinvent the smartphone without breaking a few eggs, right? As one supply chain analyst famously put it, every cubic millimeter inside that fold is spoken for. There is an absolute space war happening inside this chassis. It's like trying to pack for a month-long vacation into a tiny carry-on bag. Between the massive battery, the liquid metal hinge, the dual displays, and that vapor chamber, Apple simply ran out of physical room. So something had to be killed. And here is the battlefield completely broken down for our review of the pros and cons. To get that ultra-thin 4.5mm chassis and that amazing all-day battery life, Apple had to cut some incredibly beloved features. Because of the crazy space constraints, the complex 3D depth sensors required for Face ID completely gone. There's literally no internal room for the magnetic rings required for MagSafe wireless charging either. Oh, and the device simply isn't thick enough to house the periscope telephoto lens that we love on the Pro Max models. For a lot of folks, the loss of Face ID is going to be a massive shock. But it's absolutely vital to understand that bringing Touch ID back and embedding it directly into the side power button isn't some cheap cost-cutting measure on a premium flagship. It is an unavoidable necessity to maintain that mind-blowing 4.5mm thickness. At the end of the day, Face ID just lost the battle for space. Section 5. Production drama and delays. Now, as you might expect, taking on this level of ambition is currently clashing hard with Apple's famously strict quality control. Let's look at the timeline. Trial production began in early 2026, but by June, reports started surfacing that the hinge was failing. Because that Passport fold is short and wide, it puts a massive amount of concentrated torque on the hinge. During intense stress tests, these hinges were reportedly making awful rattling sounds and straight up failing after repeated use. So build quality is definitely a concern right now, and it leaves that rumored September 2026 launch in a very precarious position. So right now, Apple is facing a brutal choice. Do they thicken the device a bit to make the hinge stronger, thereby compromising on their dream of the world's thinnest foldable, or do they delay the highly anticipated September launch entirely? Actually, some savvy industry insiders are asking a brilliant question here. Is this a genuine engineering crisis, or could this be a calculated, strategic leak by Apple to make competitors think they're struggling, just to throw Samsung and Google off their scent right before a flawless launch? Honestly, with Apple, you just never know. Section 6. The $2,000 question. So, the crucial point is, what does all this mean for you, the consumer, regarding value for money when this device finally hits the shelves? Well, all of this bleeding-edge technology comes at a steep premium. Industry analysts are universally predicting a retail price landing somewhere between $2,000 and $2,400. That will officially make the iPhone Ultra the absolute most expensive consumer iPhone ever launched. Which leaves us with our final verdict and this provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. We've seen the incredible ambition, the gorgeous crease-free screen, the massive battery, and that beautiful Passport design. But we've also talked about the heavy compromises, losing Face ID, missing out on MagSafe, and paying over $2,000 for the privilege. So I leave it to you. Would you sacrifice your beloved Face ID and over $2,000 to own the thinnest, most advanced foldable phone in the world? It is a huge gamble for Apple and a massive decision for you as a consumer. If you want to buy this product, the purchase link is in the comments section. Click on the link there to buy it. And please, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dive tech reviews. Thanks for hanging out with me to unpack all of this, and I'll catch you on the next one.